Jordan Peele is kind of a genius. Where do I even begin with Nope? It's one of those movies that leaves you thinking and pondering it days after the first viewing. I honestly can't tell you everything there is to know about this film, because I'm still piecing bits of it together myself. What I can say is that it's a brilliant blend of horror, sci-fi, and occasional comedy. Peele has really mastered his ability of balancing tone. If you haven't seen this one yet, I highly recommend you do as soon as possible, because the less you know, the better. With that being said, I won't spoil any major plot points, but I might make a proper analysis video in the future. Look, the opening of a film is very important. It's the first impression you give the audience. It tells you what will be important to understand going forward. You can often tell if a filmmaker knows what they're doing by watching the opening sequence of their film. Nope, for instance, has one of the most bone-chilling openings from any film in recent years. The first 10 minutes floored me. Without going into detail, it's a perfect introduction to the core themes of the film, and it does a great job of setting up questions for later. It's one of those moments where even the opening credits that show on the screen over footage of a man on horseback gave me goosebumps. Nope doesn't try to be super scary, but it does have its suspenseful moments. There are some truly nail-biting scenes that work so well because the emotional core of the film is OJ and his sister Emerald, played brilliantly by Daniel Kaluuya and Keke Palmer. Both of these characters' personalities contrast each other, but they both have to grieve over the same thing. The theme of grief is one of many themes in this film, as Peele has a lot to say here. I think he manages to sneak in subtle social commentary while still making a truly entertaining film. It's not overly self-indulgent or pretentious. It's really amazing how he's able to balance disturbing sequences with funny ones and complex ideas with an accessible plot. I think this is going to make the movie very rewatchable. I can definitely see myself coming back to this one in the future and picking up on little things I had missed before. What we have here is a really damn good script that wears its influence on its sleeve, but it's still original. It's definitely paying an homage to Jaws and a long list of alien movies that came before it, but it meshes all these things into its own unique world. Speaking of Jaws, I think Nope really takes that philosophy of not showing the audience too much and really putting it into full effect here. We only really see what we need to see, so that the suspenseful nature of the film is present throughout the entire runtime. And eventually, when we get to the big reveal, everything is pretty satisfying. As for the technical aspects of this movie, it just sounds amazing. The sound design and the soundtrack are just perfect. They really made use of the little intricate sounds that horses make to add to the atmosphere of the film. Even the scenes where a horse is like galloping away and it's fading off into the distance. I don't know, the mix was just very effective. They really made good use of silence too, how it seemed like sounds were coming in and out of a scene, in almost a rhythmical kind of way. And then of course Hoytema's cinematography, which almost really doesn't need any sort of introduction or any sort of explanation at this point. You could probably teach a class on this guy's cinematography. There's brilliant camera movement in this movie, shots where the camera looks up at the sky as this UFO darts through the clouds, or the use of shadows in this movie similar to the use of silence, things moving in and out of frame and in and out of darkness. Peele and Hoytema do a great job of visual storytelling. They do a great job of emphasizing the importance of something purely through the composition or camera movement. And overall, this movie just looks great. The nighttime sequences have such a distinct atmosphere to them. You know, this shit was shot on like IMAX cameras, and you pair that with the talent of Peele and Hoytema, and yeah, it looks pretty good. It's a pretty good looking movie. Movies like this don't get made very often anymore, so I think the support for this movie is very important. I think people need to be watching it, because even if you don't enjoy it as much as I do or other people do, I think most of us would agree that we want movies like this being made, ones with higher budgets, ones that give directors creative freedom, and ones that aren't just remakes and sequels of other intellectual properties. And I'm not saying that higher budget necessarily equals good movie, but I am saying more directors should have a shot at making higher budget films. Visionaries like Jordan Peele need to be supported rewarded for making good movies. There's really only a small handful of filmmakers that get a huge budget for original concepts nowadays. Christopher Nolan is probably the most obvious one, and then there's guys like Ridley Scott who made stuff like The Last Duel for like $100 million, but then it bombed at the box office. So what does that say about the audience now? I think The Last Duel was good, and I think a lot of people who've seen it would agree with me on that. And yeah, I know there are some people that didn't love the movie, but yeah, I guess movies like Nope give me a reason to not be super nihilistic about the current state of the film industry. I just hope by the time that Nope is out of theaters that it made its money and that people supported it. So I'll say it again, if you haven't seen this movie, go and watch it. Although I don't know why you would watch this video having not seen it, but to each their own. Anyways, there's a lot of things that can be analyzed about this film, but I'm not gonna go into all of that right now. I might be saving that for another video, but if you made it this far, then you might as well leave a like, maybe even subscribe, and if you're feeling really ambitious, you can turn on notifications. Also, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Tell me everything there is to know about the movie, your interpretations, what did you love about it, what didn't you love about it, and yeah, thank you for watching.